Bree. Today I will be showcasing my Sims 4 save file, specifically the Sims in Willow Creek. If you saw my original video, you'll be familiar with some of these families. However, I did take down that video just because I didn't really like the way that I made it. It came off more as a slideshow than a video, but now I've learned a bit more about editing, so hopefully this video is more interesting to watch and more organized and all that. Two things I'd like to address before we jump in is, one, I am not going to be sharing this as a download. I used a lot of CC with making the Sims and with building, so unless we have like identical save files, it just wouldn't make sense. However, if anybody is interested in a particular Sim or household, I could share it as a tray file on my Tumblr. Just leave a comment. Doubt anybody will, but just in case. Number two is that I did not remodel the community lots in Willow Creek. That is because I don't really use them. I don't really leave the house in The Sims 4 or The Sims 2 or The Sims 3, so it just didn't make sense for me to redo the community lots. So it's only the houses that were actually already built. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's begin. Hani and her husband Abdi were well known in the archaeological community for their exploration in Salvadorada, consistently expanding the world's knowledge on ancient Salvadoranian culture. Abdi's mother, Ayan, babysat Sarah and Corey while their parents were away, knowing their contribution to the academic world was worth the risk to them. But after one misplaced step in the most infamous temple of Salvadorada, Abdi was hit by a poisoned dart and passed away before Hani was able to get him medical attention. After the loss, Ayan invited Hani, Sarah, and Corey to come move in with her, under the condition that Hani gave up her archaeology trips. With household funds running low and the kids missing their grandmother, Hani felt she had to say yes. Each family member is dealing with grief their own way. Ayan is in denial, Sarah and Corey are incredibly angry and distraught, respectively, and Hani is just barely holding it together for her kids. With Hani being home consistently for once, she noticed her children struggling and sought out counseling for the two of them. Sarah has finally gotten her much-needed ASD diagnosis, and Corey is working through his trauma slowly but surely. Tensions are running high in the household due to the big changes, and Hani isn't sure how much longer she can keep up her act of being put together. Phoebe doesn't like to speak ill of the dead, but she often wonders where her late son went wrong when raising his children. 2 out of the 3 are ungrateful, entitled, and just plain unpleasant sometimes. None of them can get along, and now that Phoebe is getting closer to the end of her life, who will be the sole beneficiary in Phoebe's will is often a point of contention, at least between Nicholas and Louise. Joyce, however, is the most kind-hearted of the 3 and is constantly trying to impress her grandmother. The 2 are able to bond over their love for music and their shared memories of Phoebe mentoring Joyce in piano as a child. On top of that, Joyce was the only one willing to pursue a career of any kind. Phoebe practically had to force her other 2 grandchildren to get jobs and pull their weight around the house. And while Nicholas and Louise continue to argue over their inheritance, Phoebe knows the answer is clear. This household was inspired by the family fortune scenario. Matilda is getting on in years, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to do things on her own. This was what motivated her to move in with her son Nathaniel, his husband Byron, and their 2 children, Charlie and Vernon. She definitely underestimated just how much she didn't miss living with children. Matilda has never approved of her son's relationship with Byron, always having envisioned him in a more traditional relationship, as she calls it. She hates how much Nathaniel and Byron baby the kids and wants them to toughen up. But despite Matilda's disapproval, the couple are, by all accounts, great parents. They love their kids, are very supportive of any endeavor they choose to pursue, and provide more than enough for them. Charlie is beloved by his classmates and excels in both school and his extracurricular activities, but his younger brother, Vernon, always feels like he is living in Charlie's shadow. His dads try their best to convince him otherwise, but he is having a hard time getting past his insecurities. Perhaps some counseling and extra support would help. Having just moved out of her parents' house, Emery is finally free to be who she is. No more strained relationships, no more judgmental comments over family dinner, and certainly no more arguments over how lazy she can be. Going no contact was intimidating at first, but Emery has discovered that it can be quite freeing. Now, though, she does feel quite isolated in her new neighborhood in Willow Creek. She hopes to find some good friends, and maybe even a partner who is comfortable and understanding of her newfound asexuality. She dreams of settling down with the right person, creating the stable family life she was deprived of as a child. But for now, Emery will take life as it comes, finding beauty in the small things and spreading positivity where she can. Alana and Tasha were best friends in high school, two of the mean girls of their class. Alana has always had an unhealthy relationship with food, often binging during times of extreme stress. In high school, this caused her to be bullied about her eating habits and weight, feeding into the cycle. Tasha, noticing Alana and secretly finding her cute, took her under her wing, making her over and encouraging her to lose weight. Tasha then had Alana's loyalty and love, for better or worse. Alana participated in the bullying that Tasha and her friends subjected the other students to, first feeling guilty about it, but then becoming desensitized to the cruelty. Now married and in love, Alana has grown out of her mean girl ways. It seems that Tasha, however, has not. Tasha has always been one to lie and cheat, and that hasn't stopped even though she claims to love her wife. And while she wants a child with Alana, much to Alana's surprise and dismay, she can't even stay faithful to her. But the twisted sense of loyalty and gratitude she has for Tasha has stuck around, making her want to salvage the relationship. Now desperate, Alana is demanding couples therapy. Jax, Chloe, Bex, and Russell. 4 friends brought together by their shared queerness and their desire for community. Jax and Bex grew up together, dumpster diving, climbing trees, and getting into trouble but always being there for each other. Chloe joined the group after Bex went on a date with her, deciding they were better off as friends. And Russell met everyone on their Pride event, loving everyone's company, and has stuck around since. Now that they're all under the same roof, they're closer than ever. Maybe even some potential romances are brewing? Alexander has always struggled with anger issues. His relationships have almost never been healthy or stable, often riddled with arguments and jealousy. And he didn't exactly plan on becoming a father, let alone a single father. This turn of events threatened his plans of becoming a full-time artist, causing him to spiral into depression. Shortly after Caleb's birthday, his mother left him in the middle of the night. No explanation, no note, nothing. Never one to give up, Alexander put on a brave face for his son and is trying his best to support the two of them. And even though Alexander is a hothead, no one makes him happier than Caleb. Despite the hardships of being a teen mom, Lucy always knew she could lean on her loving boyfriend Harry. But shortly after Luke was born, a house fire destroyed the family's home and took Harry's life. Lucy has been struggling with the grief, neglecting chores and hygiene. Her emotional control has been reduced, sometimes snapping at her daughter over meaningless things. Alexandria hasn't been taking it too well either, becoming obsessed with mortality and dressing in all black. She has been doing lots of research on thanatology and ghosts, though remains skeptical. After all, if ghosts exist, why hasn't her father visited her yet? Luke is also struggling, becoming increasingly clingy and having trouble sleeping through the night, plagued with nightmares caused by the traumatic event he's too young to even understand. Recently, Alexandria suggested getting a cat to cope. Lucy hates cats, but didn't have the heart to say no to her grieving daughter. After some consideration, she begrudgingly welcomed Sam, the Maine Coon, to the family. Although he's sometimes a handful, Alexandria has been made incredibly happy by his companionship, and that's all Lucy can ask for. The Liangs are a successful family, with Aubrey and Dominic always busy trying to further their careers or better themselves. They're so busy, in fact, that it seems like they often forget about their own kids. Cole doesn't always seem to mind, loving the time he gets with his sister Caitlin. The two are best friends, according to Cole, and are doing just fine on their own, also according to Cole. Caitlin is stuck between wanting to act out to finally make her parents see her, or just wanting to lay low like always and focus on her grades and music. She's so close to getting that future star scholarship to University of Brightchester after all, and her parents would be ecstatic. If they would just sit down for 1 second and listen, that is. It's safe to say that Tucker is incredibly insecure in his looks, his skills, his career, basically everything. He was never considered good-looking or particularly smart growing up, making him angry and envious of his peers. Once he was old enough, he made an account on Cupid's Corner to hopefully find a hot rich MILF. His words. Luckily for him, he found an attractive older woman who seemed to be absolutely loaded. His now wife, Mila. But little did Tucker know, Mila wasn't being completely upfront about who she was. She had said that her family was wealthy, but that's about it. She did not disclose that she is actually an alien from 6M, where she was born to a noble family. Nor did she tell Tucker that she was sent to Earth to create alien-human hybrids as an experiment. But throughout the process of this experiment, Mila actually grew fond of Tucker and Earth, and truly fell in love. She explained all this with her second daughter, both newly born and very alien-looking, clutched in her arms, begging Tucker to forgive her. Tucker still isn't sure how to feel, hurt by the lies and secrecy, or flattered that somebody actually loves him. He's still on the fence about it all, but plans on sticking around, at least for now. Oditi and her 2 little sisters are close-knit and lots of fun. Having recently lost their grandmother who raised them, they're finding comfort in their close connection to get through this tough transition period. Oditi, ever the romantic, is looking for love, but of course the mischievous Isla and Cleo have been finding it fun to prank Oditi before her dates. The Spicers are quite a sweet family. They enjoy volunteering as a family, hosting neighborhood barbecues, and just spending quality time together. Samantha and Luca are happily married and love their children more than anything else. The twins, Madeline and Jonathan, are attached at the hip. Madeline's extroverted nature balances out Jonathan's timidness, making them the perfect pair. Once high school sweethearts, Taylor and David now have a nice suburban home and 4 lovely children. While Taylor loves the arts and expresses herself through her paintings, David is more the type to enjoy watching paint dry. Not one interesting bone in his body, that David. Taylor wonders if she'd made a mistake marrying so young, but that's what therapy is for, right? Leo and Sam are each their own types of odd, and they don't mind telling each other as much. Leo especially likes to pick on Sam for being pansexual, his internalized homophobia over his own bi-curiosity driving him to do so. But when Sam was bullied at school for being queer, Leo stuck up for him. They still aren't close as siblings and get into plenty of arguments, but they're both grateful for the silent agreement to watch each other's backs. Okay, so those are all my Sims in Willow Creek. I do have a video planned for Oasis Springs. I am almost finished with it. I just have a few more houses to build and households to move in, so hopefully I can get that video out soon. We'll see what happens with that. So thank you so much for watching. If you watched till the end, I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.